Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, May 6th, 2025, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 1-971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak. Again, pressing *6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. I have a special announcement this morning. The Tillamook County Courthouse, located at 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon, 97141, will undergo essential infrastructure and system upgrades to its elevator beginning Thursday, June 5th, 2025 through Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. During this time, the elevator will be out of service, but all courthouse and county offices will remain open to the public. Visitors are encouraged to call ahead for appointments and reschedule if possible to minimize disruption and ensure accessibility during the upgrade period. Accessibility accommodations will include basement offices can be accessed via the rear basement ramp. A temporary front access ramp will be installed, allowing entry to the south entrance and first floor offices. And individuals requiring access to second floor services will be assisted in designated areas located on the basement or first floor, depending on the nature of the business. We appreciate the public's patience and understanding as we complete these necessary improvements to enhance accessibility and service. Okay, so we'll go ahead and jump in with the Board of Commissioners roll call. Good morning, Commissioner Bell.
Good morning.
And good morning, Commissioner Fournier.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, well, we will jump in with Adventist Health Tillamook and Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
I am in Twin Rocks today. It's a beautiful day up here in Rockaway. We take our leadership teams off campus about 3 times a year for leadership development to focus on growth around leadership. And so we're in Twin Rocks for the day today. I just want to talk about one thing today, and that's dialysis. And for those of you who did not see the Facebook post last week, the DCI did receive their license from the Oregon Health Authority so that they can start performing dialysis services. They are currently in the process of using one patient, dialyzing one patient, and creating a record so that CMS, which is the Center for Medicare Services, can review that record and make sure that they are fully compliant with how dialysis is being provided. And once that happens, they will get their CMS approval and they can actually start seeing patients. My email from DCI last night indicated that that's probably 2 weeks out before CMS gives them their approval. So I just want to say thank you to Representative Javity, Senator Weber, the governor's office. They were all instrumental in getting the OHA, encouraging the OHA to get this done as quickly as possible. We still have a couple sinks to install, but we have till the end of the month to get that done, and that's our responsibility at Adventist Health Tillamook. And so we're very grateful and excited to have dialysis services coming back in the very, very near future. If you have questions about getting on the schedule, you can call the hospital number 503-842-4444 and ask to be transferred down to dialysis. Molly is the nurse manager, and she can help you get on their schedule. So with that, that's all I've got for you this morning.
Thank you, Eric. That is absolutely fabulous news, and we will look forward to hearing that everyone who wishes to receive their dialysis in Tillamook can do that right here. So sounds like that's coming soon, and that has been a long haul, and we really do appreciate Adventist Health's commitment to just finding a provider. That itself was not an easy task, and then to the work that's been done to get this pushed through. So I have a meeting later today with the governor. I will pass on our thanks for her support.
Absolutely.
Okay, is there any other questions for Eric? Okay, not hearing any. I will move on. I am not seeing either of our Coastal Caucus members with us today. So we will go ahead and move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. I see Camille. Good morning, Camille.
Good morning. I wanted to give a shout out to all the nurses in our community and the great state of Oregon. This week is the National Nurses Week. Every year from May 6th to 12th, nurses are recognized for their service and dedication to caring for others and improving the health of patients nationwide through National Nurses Week. This year's theme, The Power of Nurses, perfectly embodies the irreplaceable value of nurses in keeping our nation, our state, and community healthy and thriving. Throughout history, nurses have been the backbone of our healthcare system, and we want to thank all nurses in Tillamook County for the work that they do and the difference in the lives of our citizens. May is also Women's Health Month, and as many may be gathering to celebrate women and mother figures in their lives this weekend, we hope you join us in celebrating National Women's Health Week, which starts on Mother's Day, May 11th, and ends the 15th. This week aims to highlight women's health issues and encourage women of all ages to prioritize their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Women experience many diverse and unique health concerns in all stages of their lives, and routine health screenings can help address those, such as pap smears and mammograms. To learn more and start a discussion this upcoming week about preventive health screenings, visit womenshealth.gov or check out our Facebook page, Tillamook CHC. And lastly, if you're looking for a fun and educational way to spend a Friday night, our public health team launched the Talk, Test, Treat educational campaign to open conversations around sexual health and to raise awareness around STIs that are preventable and treatable, and most are curable. Join us on 3 upcoming Friday nights across the county for sexual health trivia. Show off your trivia skills, win prizes, enjoy food, and leave with knowledge on prevention, testing, and treatment of STIs. There's no RSVP required. There's free appetizers. While supplies last, just show up and join us. We're going to have 3 different events. First one is Friday, May 23rd, 8 to 10 p.m. at the Rendezvous Bar and Grill in Tillamook. Another is Friday, June 13th, 7 to 9 at Meg's Beechwood Bar and Grill in Pacific City. And lastly, Friday, June 27th, 7 to 9 p.m. at Manzanita Lighthouse in Nehalem. If you would like more information about these events, you can visit Tillamook County CHC to learn more. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you, Camille. Any questions for Camille? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Good morning, Gail.
Yes, good morning. Just one announcement from the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy this morning. Hospital Road will be closed tomorrow, Wednesday, also Thursday and Friday. It will be closed from 7 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon or the evening for construction-related activities. The detour will be clearly marked Paul Street, and please exercise caution. We will continue with our normal business operations. There will be no impact to us. Just want to let the community know that Hospital Road will be closed. And there's also been some construction a little bit north of Wheeler. Nothing today, but for the last couple of days, the lanes are 1 lane only. So you may see some of that also this week. That's it for me this morning.
Thank you, Gail. Any questions for Gail? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Commissioner. This is Frank Hannah Williams, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. I want to sort of echo and follow up on Camille's discussion around acknowledging the week, National Nurses Week, running from the 6th to the 12th. And of course, International Nurses Day is celebrated on the 12th, which is also Florence Nightingale's birthday. But I want to on today, National Nurses Day, acknowledge the very special kind of work that is done with nursing that is done in a behavioral health setting. It is a very special work, and often done not inside of a building. It is sometimes done in the community, and sometimes done in the homes of the people that we serve, because that kind of work is special and sometimes quite challenging. So I want a special shout out to Lauren Wilkes and Danya Nolasco, our two nursing staff, in acknowledging the work that they do in partnership with the rest of the staff here, and in support of the ongoing health of the community. So that is my report for today. If anyone has any questions, I'll take them.
Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank? Okay, not hearing any. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everyone who's given a shout out to our nurses. That is definitely one of the key roles in any medical facility, any behavioral health facility, in support of wellness. So thank them all as well. Okay, we will transition to the sheriff's office. I see Sheriff Brown with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
We can, thank you.
So I'm a little behind schedule and you guys are hustling through, so I don't have a whole list of stats like I normally do, but I do have a few. For the month of April, we had a total calls for service 1,459, so just shy of 1,500 calls for service. Just a couple of stats, snapshots. We had 38 motor vehicle accidents or recreational accidents in the month. That's more than one a day if you average it out. Our deputies did 220 traffic stops, which I've mentioned numerous times that is a proactive policing or self-initiated activity, and it is a critical part of trying to lessen or lower the number of motor vehicle accidents by hopefully being, showing some exposure and presence and getting people to slow down a little bit. So those are the stats that I do have for you today. A couple other things. In the month of April, we had our search and rescue banquet. There's been some good coverage on it through the Headlight Herald, and I believe we're going to be doing a post kind of wrapping it up pretty soon. But we raised about $36,000 for our search and rescue volunteer program, and we had about 250 guests and volunteers there, so it was a great night. I very much enjoy being able to visit with the community that we serve. So it was a really, really good night. The very next weekend after our SAR banquet, we had our first annual Easter egg hunt out here at the sheriff's office, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Being the first year, I thought maybe our attendance would be kind of low, but it was anything but. We had every spot in our parking lot, plus our driveway coming in, just absolutely lined with cars on both sides. There were hundreds of kids, big, huge smiles. It was absolutely a success. I've been telling the story that I had one young kid, young boy, walk up with his mother, and he was very hesitant and kind of looking down at the ground. His mom said he was scared of police. So I got down and I visited with him for a moment, and I gave him a sticker, and by the time he left, he had a smile on his face. So in my opinion, that makes that whole event worth it, is developing that relationship and maybe changing his outlook on police. So that was, like I said, an amazing success. We definitely need to get more eggs next year. That is one thing that we learned. There was so many kids there, and we just underestimated that, I guess. But more eggs for sure. Big thanks to the foundation, the Sheriff's Office Foundation, as well as TLC for sponsoring it. TLC has been a great partner and in helping the Sheriff's Office, so we appreciate that. We've had quite a bit of movement with our staff here recently. I'm probably going to leave something out, but we've had some new hires come in. We have a couple of recruits that are at the academy right now. We had a couple of recruits graduate the academy. We're trying to get it all posted on our social media page. It's very positive and hopeful when we see that much movement. happening within this office, and we're getting closer and closer to full staffing. Of course, training takes a lot of time, but we're very excited to see a lot of that movement happening. We actually got our part-time parks deputy started, so that coverage will be available during the busy upcoming Memorial Weekend. So we're happy about all of that. I attended the Silet's award banquet, Silet's contribution fund banquet with Deputy Barnett, who's our lead search and rescue coordinator. We got a grant just shy of $3,000 from them. That's going to be used for new desks, or they're more like tables. They're a little bit more appropriate as far as for training, and they're going to go into our search and rescue, our ATV building, which is where we hold a lot of our in-house training. We have search and rescue training that happens there. We share that space, or we allow the Civil Air Patrol to use that space. So that building has a lot of use, and having good equipment and good tables that are not bellied or wore down is crucial. So thank you to the Silet's tribe for that. We very much appreciate it. Last thing I want to say is that I'll be at Touch a Truck tonight. We'll have a couple of deputies with a couple of our vehicles. We've done that, I think, every year since it started. Really good crowd of people always show up, and again, it's another opportunity to have good relationships with young kids and let them see what it is that we utilize. So I'm excited to be able to be a part of that tonight. That starts at 4, and it's between City Hall and in front of the courthouse, I believe. So hopefully we'll see everybody there. It's from 4 to 6 p.m. With that, that's all I have, and I can take any questions if there is some.
Thank you, Sheriff. Are there any questions for the sheriff today? Okay, not hearing any. I'll just make a couple quick comments on the Easter egg thing. Obviously, I was not there. I have no small children any longer, but when my daughter was small, we had the opportunity to interact with city police at that point. But she still remembers it to this day, the conversation that she had with the chief of police and just how it impacted her feeling about law enforcement. So I'm excited about that event. I think the work that you talked about and the example you gave is just so right on track with how we help young people in our world just really appreciate, understand, and not be fearful of law enforcement. So thank you for that, Sheriff. That's awesome.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And I agree completely. It's interesting to hear your daughter remembers that, because that obviously had an impact, and I'm going for the same kind of a feel. So it's a good thing, I think. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. This being the first Tuesday of the month, we also have with us today the Oregon Department of Transportation, Mr. Bill Chablonski. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Commissioner Scar. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Hey, well, thanks for the opportunity. Always a pleasure to come and spend a couple of minutes with the county and give some updates. Especially today, we have some construction updates I can give folks. I'll start with on 131, the Tillamook River Bridge. So later this month, we're going to have the contractor starting to take a single lane on that bridge during the daytime from Mondays through Fridays. We're actually doing the steel coating repair and painting below the deck. So you're not going to see activity on top of the bridge deck itself. It'll be down below where the traffic is traveling from. Like I mentioned last month, this is a follow-up on this project. Look for that. There's going to be a temporary signal on the bridge itself controlling traffic through that single lane there starting later this month. And the contractor's schedule goes to October, but we don't know exactly how long they'll actually take. Perhaps it'll be done ahead of time. The other update I'm going to give is the ongoing construction in Garibaldi on 101. We just finished the first round of paving the last couple of weeks, and we've worked out some of the bugs and details. I'm going to be canvassing the local businesses as well as the port of Garibaldi tomorrow and connecting with those folks to see how we can make improvements to the we have the loss of street parking on 101 since we had construction, looking to see how we can improve maintaining accesses to businesses and where we can provide parking for people traveling through the area. So looking forward to that as well, too. And I also just want to do a quick kind of a tally here to let folks know how much ODOT is spending in Tillamook County. So for the construction years 25 through 27, ODOT is budgeted to spend $40 million. And $30 million of that is on Oregon 6 in Tillamook County. Now, I know that's not all the projects that people want, but these are the projects like paving, bridge coating jobs on Devil's Lake West Fork of the Devil's Lake Fork of the Wilson River. Number of projects there. The barrier project that extends all the way from Tillamook to Banks. I know these are projects that the small low-hanging fruit, as what you'd say, but these are very important for safety and travel through Oregon 6 and Tillamook County as well. I just want to highlight those and say those are budgeted and funded, and we're looking forward to delivering those in the next couple of construction seasons. On the maintenance side, the local Tillamook ODOT crew is busy at doing mowing, pothole patching all throughout the district, and making sure that we have accessible and safe routes through the Tillamook County. And with that, I'll pause and take any questions.
Thank you, Bill. Are there any questions for Bill today? Okay, I'm not hearing any questions, but thank you for that. I'm going to talk a little bit about county roads in a little bit, as we all are looking to the legislature this session to see what they're going to do for funding for roads, because the partnership between cities, counties, and ODOT is such a significant it's just an important partnership. You know, nobody driving on roads says, am I on a state road or a county road or a city road? They say, I want to get where I'm going. And they want to seamlessly cross between those three partners who are providing roads. So I think it's just important as we are looking at the legislature and their current proposals that we are also understanding the partnership and the magnitude of the need. So thank you for being with us, Bill. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so we will go ahead and move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Fournier, would you like to kick us off today? Oh, wait, I missed emergency management. I jumped right over them. So thank you, Bill, for your report. I'm going to step back to emergency management. And so I know that I have both Ann and Randy with me today. So who would like to take the emergency management report?
Randy, were you going to say anything this morning?
No, I think you're the best spokesman for the department right now.
Perfect. Love to hear it. Well, then I'll kick right into it. Good morning. You definitely threw me for a bit of a loop there, jumping over us for a second. I was very confused, but glad to have a chance to talk. This is my last reminder that the Tillamook County Emergency Management, in partnership with the City of Tillamook Police Department, we'll be putting on our first Tillamook volunteer group meeting this Thursday at the library from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. This will really be a chance for anyone who wants to get more involved in their community's preparedness, no matter your interest, no matter your skills or background, to come together and see what exactly this group can be for the city of Tillamook, and how we can support preparedness in Central County. So really excited for that. I hope everyone will be there Thursday, May 8th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Tillamook Main Library. I also want to tease some upcoming events. Tillamook County is partnering with some of our state agencies, like Oregon Department of Emergency Management, Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries, and the National Weather Service to bring out the Tillamook Tsunami Roadshow 101. This is the basics of tsunami really coming from the experts, the people who make the maps, who do the science. And it's your chance to really learn all, ask any questions you have, and then also learn some next steps. So this will be two 2-hour sessions. You can either go to one or the other, or really both if you wanted to. There will be a stop in North County on June 4th. At the Pine Grove Community House in Manzanita from 11 to 1 p.m. And there will be a second stop in Central County on the same day, June 4th, at the Tillamook County Main Library in Tillamook from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And so we hope people will come out and really get a chance to learn more about tsunamis and earthquakes on the Oregon coast, how it all works, and bring your questions, bring your curiosity, because this is a great opportunity to learn more. And ask the experts all your questions. And that is all. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. And I do apologize again for jumping over you guys. I just got ahead of myself.
All good.
I was excited about roads, but I'm also excited about preparedness. I think that I'm anxious to see what the Tillamook County group, sort of how they form and what their priorities turn out to be, because that's such an important piece of our countywide puzzle. So thank you for that.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, so as I said, Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Fournier, would you like to kick us off?
Hi, good morning. I don't have much today. I just got back from a visit to my family back east, which was wonderful, seeing my dad and stepmom. Just a quick, I was glad to hear that Bill Jablonski was on the line, and I did meet with him regarding Highway 6, and it was very informative and very helpful, and he's a great partner, and I'm excited they're going to have some funding for some work to be done up there. I'm actually heading up there today with a meeting with Will Chappell, the editor of the Headlight Herald, is writing a story about Highway 6 and the condition and all that. So I'm going to meet him up there at the slide. And I'm still reaching out and have meetings scheduled for the next month. So when people stop and ask me at Safeway if I fixed it yet, I haven't fixed the road yet, but we are working on at least raising some awareness to it. And then finally, I know that in any election, you get campaign fatigue. People are tired of hearing about the stories, but of course, I'm going to do it one more time here. Most of us already have our ballots, and a large number of us have already voted, and that's great. And I just want to remind people of one of the things about the TLT measure. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. I kind of take a different tack on this. I want to remind folks, because there's been some misleading statements basically talking about the fact that by raising it and increasing the amount of 70% restricted funds, that all that means is we're going to do more tourism promotion. And I want to remind people that Tillamook County has been very, through our contract with Nan's organization, the Tillamook Coast Visitors Association, we've done a very responsible and thoughtful approach to advertising. We know, and they know, the tourists have already found us. And so we're more on a destination management model. And part of that means investing in facilities, which is part of that restricted funds, that we all benefit from. The good thing is most local residents appreciate the same things about our county that visitors do, and we want to see the same improvements. I know Commissioner Starr is a big hiker. I know Commissioner Bell likes to go outside, and I'm always on the beach. So these things are important to all of us, and I just want to remind folks that 70%, the way we use it here through both grants, through Tillamook Coast Visitors Association, and through commissioner-led projects, a lot of that 70% is not, most of it, an overwhelming majority of it is not even used for promotion. It is used for facilities. And I'll give some examples of this year, the awards that were, there was money, large amounts of money donated to the Port of Garibaldi's Lumberman Park. A lot of parks in Nehalem, the Cemetery Trail, the City of Bay City got playground money. City of Bay City got bathroom, some funds to help fix their bathrooms. Port of Garibaldi is getting a new entertainment tent. Nest Green Community Association, Beach Access is getting some funds to help improve that. Sitka Center for the Arts in Southern Tillamook County. I mean, the list goes on and on. I just want to remind people, Shore Pine Village, HOA got a dune ramp. I mean, the money is being used for much more than promotion, and any increase, people vote yes and we get it. Any increase, we're going to continue to do that. It's not that we're all of a sudden going to start changing and focusing on promotion. We know that people found us. We get it. Maybe some shoulder promotion. Maybe the STR owners are a little concerned that the numbers are going to go down. So I think we're going to do some targeting marketing to try to get people down here so we can fill up those short-term rentals. But I just want to remind people, Tillamook County Rodeo Association gets money. We give, I think it's $250,000 to the Tillamook Pioneer Museum. I mean, these are legacy projects that are important to most Tillamook County residents. And I want them to understand that we use a large, overwhelming amount of that money on facilities that satisfy the visitor requirement, but also benefit each and every one of us. So I'm going to leave it at that. I just wanted to give that reminder. The focus, I think, has been diverted and hijacked, and we're not going to be spending that money on tourism, that money on promotion. That money will be spent mostly on facilities like we have been doing, in grants for local organization and businesses and individuals. So that's all I got. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so much. Okay, Commissioner Bell.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks to Commissioner Fournier for talking about the TLT increase and some of the misinformation, I also want to hit on that topic. I have observed some things popping up on Facebook that are extremely misleading and in some cases completely false. And I just want to remind people that we're living in a time where people will post anything they think of, and it doesn't have to be true. They'll just say anything in order to convince people of their point, and it doesn't have to be true. So please read carefully. You fact check what you're reading, because I just yesterday, when I had insomnia, I was scrolling Facebook in the middle of the night and I saw 3 wildly misleading posts about the TLT increase. So let me just say that movement, the anti-TLT increase movement, is coming from the folks who own short-term rentals, own or operate short-term rentals. We understand they think they're protecting their business. We don't think it's going to hurt their business. And if you think about that for a minute, you'll realize that it's important to us that their businesses are successful. You know, we would not do anything that was going to hurt their business. So we don't believe it's going to hurt their business. They're afraid it will. So they are flooding Facebook with all kinds of misinformation. So here's a couple examples of things that were completely eye-rolling to me. And a lot of these posts, if you've seen them, you'll notice that they're from anonymous posters, which is, for one thing, I immediately dismiss things from anonymous posters, because I think if you're not attaching your name to this, I'm not reading it. But also, it could be that all those anonymous posts are from the same person. So here's one. It was, I challenge people to contact the commissioners and ask them if they're going to spend this money on what they say they're going to spend it on, or if they'll just be spending it on their pet projects. So I don't know where that comes from, but we wrote it into the ordinance. It's already in an ordinance that we had to pass in order to put this measure on the ballot, how we would spend the money. So we've already locked ourselves in by ordinance on how we would spend the money. A future Board of Commissioners could do an ordinance revision. That's possible. It's a lengthy process. It involves public hearings. It's a legal process, but it could happen. But we've already locked in, if voters pass this, how we will spend the money, and we'll be held to that in precisely the same way that the Board of Commissioners who helped to pass the first TLT ordinance in 2013 locked in that they would spend the 30% over which the government has discretion on roads, and they did that consistently. We're still doing that. It's locked in. The ways that we're saying we will spend the 30%, locked in, and that's on the general fund, most of it to be directed to the sheriff's office budget. So that's not, we don't have some special pet project plans and we're going to siphon money off. That doesn't happen in county government. And maybe it happens other places, not here. And our budget is public, so you can be involved in the process. You have access to the budget. We'll talk to people about the budget. It's transparent. So there's that. And additionally, I saw a post that was crazy, because it suggested that it's not legal or appropriate to spend TLT funds on roads. Well, that's just crazy. It is legal and appropriate. We've been doing it for 10 years. And that's not part of the new proposal. It's what we are doing. We solved the roads budget deficit with TLT 10 years ago successfully. So the roads budget used to have a terrible deficit. We had the worst roads in the state, ranked 36 of 36, the worst roads in the state. So the commissioners who were in office in 2013 encouraged voters to pass the TLT, promised that they would spend the 30% on the roads budget, and that as that grew over time, they hoped that it would fix the roads budget deficit, and it has. It totally worked. TLT solved the roads budget problem. So it's appropriate. We're doing it. We've been doing it. We're not going to change it. So that was goofy. And I saw another goofy post that was just strange math that said that of $1,000 of TLT, $69 would go to the sheriff's office. That's just false. So of TLT, we have discretion over 30% of the spending. So simply 30% of 1,000 is 300. It's not 69. And 30% of 3 million, we anticipate that if people approve this, the new revenue will be 3 million. 30% of 3 million is 900,000, and that's what we would use toward the general fund. So just please, if you see these things on Facebook, do some fact checking of your own and don't assume that they're true, because a bunch of stuff I've read is not true. And I want to say also on the subject that it's the responsibility of the commissioners to balance the budget. So it used to be that there were high and low years, fat years and lean years, because the timber market would change. So the county could get through some lean years with the expectation that the fat years would come behind them and things would more or less level out. So what's changed now is that we're in a deficit time that's projected to continue to decline. We've been told that we can't expect more fat years. So the budget, what we receive from timber revenues, because of all the things you probably already know about, the habitat conservation plan that conserves forest for uses other than harvest, that our timber revenues will continue to decline. So that means that we're responsible to balance the budget with less. And so I've seen some things on Facebook like, live within your means. Well, what that really means is that we have to reallocate funds. We have to move funds around. So this year, for example, we balanced the budget. No, it's not final yet, but in our work, we moved money out of the building fund. There are things we need to do to upgrade and repair in the courthouse that we took money out of the building fund in order to balance the budget in the general fund in order to pay for general fund services. So that might be okay for this year. It obviously won't be okay in the long term to not fix the building. We're also figuring out how to move money around in other places, like for when positions go unfilled, those positions have been budgeted, so that money is just sitting in the budget. So we're pulling that back out, of course, moving it back into the general fund. That's logical. So there's some ways to move money around like that and reallocate. The other two options are to generate funds to continue to pay for the services we're providing, or to reduce the services. And so we're trying to prevent the latter. We're trying to prevent reducing services that people need and value. And one way we've been doing that for the last couple of years is balancing the budget with a savings account. I've seen stuff on Facebook about, well, that's not going to be extra to the sheriff's office. Well, no, it isn't. We'd love to grow the sheriff's office, but we can't afford to because we've been balancing the budget with a savings account. And within a couple years, we'll run out of savings, and then we'll be in a genuine crisis if we get to that point, and we're trying to prevent getting to that point. So what I want people to know is that this is our job. This is what you elected us to be responsible for this, and we're trying to figure out how to generate funds to continue to pay for the services that you need. And this is one way, by raising TLT, it's one way to generate funds that Tillamook County residents and taxpayers are not going to pay for. There are other potential solutions that we would have to pay for. So this seemed like a good place to start because our visitors will pay this, and it's appropriate for them to pay it because they're using the emergency services, the public safety services when they're here. So I'll stop there on this subject and encourage people to reach out if you have questions. Don't believe what you see on Facebook, and just know that we're trying to pay for services that you want and need, and without you paying for them in your tax statement. So the other thing I want to mention is that I had a nice conversation yesterday with someone who asked me, last week, Commissioner Scar and I talked about the tone of the local election and how I started the conversation by saying, I've been reading hateful things on Facebook, which is, I feel like I should stay off of Facebook because it's not good for my blood pressure. So we had this conversation about, can we just not be hateful and intolerant in our community for the benefit of our community? So I had someone called me yesterday, I called them, and she asked me, what was your intention in that conversation? And I appreciated the question. And what I shared with her is that my intention overall is not to squelch free speech. It's for us to lift up the dialogue in our community. I have a vision of us returning to civility, and I'm wondering how we get there. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's not good for any of us when we, as in our community, when we're hateful and intolerant. It's not good for anyone. It will discourage people from wanting to run for office. It's hurtful. It's not in the best interest of our community. And I believe that we collectively, all of us, are responsible for the culture of our community, all of us. And, we're not responsible for our national culture. We're not responsible for our state culture. And there will be people listening who feel strongly about both of those things, what's happening nationally, what's happening in the state. We're absolutely responsible for our local culture. And we just have to stand up and say, we want to be better. We want to be civil. We want to be good neighbors. We want to respect people who run for office because it takes courage and it's stressful and it's expensive and really all of those people just signed up to serve. They signed up to be of service. And so I just wanted to follow up on last week's conversation with that we're responsible for our culture. And I hope that we can find our way to civility, even in a time when that's not being role modeled elsewhere. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank both my colleagues for their conversation points this morning, and I will just echo that I do hope that people will look carefully at the transient lodging tax, look at the information that is counter to it, see where it is coming from. There's a pretty well-funded campaign out there that is not by people who live here. So I'll just say that about it. Thank my colleagues for diving deeply into that. I will also thank Commissioner Bell for her comments related to the civility. That has been something that I spoke to last week as well. And I've gotten some feedback from people who felt targeted by that. And I apologize if they felt targeted. There was no one incident or one situation that I was speaking to. So if they feel targeted, I do apologize. There certainly was no one person that I was speaking about or to. It is the general tone and conversation as I'm seeing it throughout our community. So thank you, Commissioner Bell, for speaking to that eloquently. Okay, I'm going to jump in and sort of change the direction. I'm going to talk just a little bit about roads. And I want to do this because right now there is a package in the legislature. They're calling it the TRIP, the Oregon Transportation Reinvestment Package. And I want to speak to it because I think that the focus of it and the focus that I've seen locally has been about ODOT. But what I want to let people know is that TRIP package is also funding huge amounts of both county and city needs. So I don't want it to get lost in what can be a very typical dialogue about how the state agencies don't serve us well. Sorry, Bill, I know you're with us. We appreciate that, but I hear that. I hear that that ODOT isn't delivering on their promise. But I want to let people know that the TRIP package includes in the funding what we call the 50-30-20 split, which is how gas taxes, vehicle registration taxes get shared among cities, counties, and the state. So the state gets 50, counties get 30, cities get 20. So 30% of any new revenue that comes through this legislative process will come directly into the counties. And so for Tillamook County, just kind of some of the stats that I think we've talked about, but it's always good to remind everyone that we have 363 road miles that we are responsible for as a county. We have 118 bridges. 8 of those bridges are currently listed in poor condition and need to be replaced. The percent of our paved roads that are in good condition is now 45%. So I appreciate Commissioner Bell's earlier comments about how the TLT and the road bond both helped to bring us from 36 of 36th in the state in terms of road maintenance and road condition. We are now somewhere in the middle. However, I certainly hear from plenty of constituents that that is not good enough, that we need to have better roads than we do today. So while we have made headway, we are not where we want to be. So it's important to recognize with only 45% of our paved roads in good condition, there is more work to be done. That work cannot be done without funding. So the TRIP package at the federal level, at the state level, is a partnership with the state, the counties, and the cities. 30% of that funding would come into Tillamook County. And of the funding, one of the things in this particular package is that 90% of that is dedicated to safety, operations, and maintenance. So there was a road package a few years ago that was really dedicated toward new capital projects. This is a different package. This package is simply to maintain the roads that we have. We all know that everything in the world has gotten more expensive, and I would say paramount in that is asphalt. It is extremely expensive, and we know that we want to continue to maintain our paved roads, and ideally we would like to repave some of our worst roads. That's going to take money, and it's money that we do not currently have. So as part of preparing for this package at the state level, the counties did a road study to determine what was needed in each county. And in Tillamook County, we have a 5-year road need of $21 million in capital projects. We have road needs of $24 million simply for operations and maintenance. $24 million for preservation. So that's taking roads that are in good shape now and hopefully keeping them in good shape. So as we take a look, there's a lot of conversation happening at the state level. Our very own Senator Weber sits on the transportation committee and is, I believe, one of the designated negotiators in this process. So what we want to make sure that Senator Weber is remembering amidst all of the negotiation and negotiation tactics as they are talking about what does this mean for ODOT, we don't want to have lost in that conversation what it means for Tillamook County and our incorporated cities. We all stand to have better roads if there are new funding resources allocated. So I just want to remind everyone of that as we're talking about roads. It also includes the county roads and the city roads. And we know everybody wants to fill every pothole. So let's get some more funding into that to do that. Okay, so that was roads, just quickly. I want to, just something came across my email. There's a conversation to the community civility point coming to Tillamook County by the Oregon Rural Urban Project, part of the nonprofit Braver Angels. They are inviting community members to come to a town hall meeting on May 17th at 1 p.m. at the Tillamook County Library to just talk about what does the urban-rural divide mean to you? When you hear that phrase, what are the examples that you think of? How is it impacting you? Just to kind of really talk about it and understand it, and then to create recommendations that will go to the governor and the state legislature. So I hope that everyone will take the opportunity on May 17th at 1 o'clock to come to the Tillamook Library. I hope very much to be there because I have some really significant thoughts about the urban-rural divide, working as a county commissioner and working with commissioners from all across the state, working with the legislature and really seeing how funding is allocated, how decisions are made. I think there are some pieces where rural voices just simply get lost in the fray because of the lower numbers of people who are speaking out and who have influence there. So I hope to be there to talk about it, and I hope others will join as well. Braver Angels, great group. They've been talking about this for a while, and I'm excited they're bringing this conversation to Tillamook County. One other thing I'll bring up quickly that I saw this morning on Facebook is that Representative Javity will be having a town hall on May 21st at 6 p.m. at Tillamook Bay Community College. Great opportunity since we have not been able to have them with us on our morning calls because they are just simply too busy at the state level right now. This is going to be a great opportunity to hear where things stand at the state level, as well as to share with him your thoughts about what Tillamook County, Tillamook cities, you as a constituent would like to see and need through his work. So Representative Javity, 521 at 6 p.m. at Tillamook Bay. Okay, I know we are have been long-winded today, but I think some good conversation. So we will now move on to our cities. Moving on to the city of Manzanita, Mayor Stock.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning from sunny Manzanita this morning. A few things from us. We've got a couple of meetings that are significant for our community this week. Tonight, we will have at 6 p.m. On Zoom our next in a series of meetings to get closer to finally adopting our budget for the next fiscal year. Tonight's meeting is designed for public comment. So we'll be looking forward to that and hearing from members of the public who are interested in having some input or want their thoughts heard. That is, as always, posted on our city's website, so very easy to find. So we're looking forward to that tonight. And tomorrow night, we've got our regular monthly city council meeting. That'll be at the Pine Grove, as it usually is. However, our date to move to our very own city hall is getting closer now after what seemed like, months and months and months away. We're now getting quite close to it. So in June and July, we'll be doing the move-in process and getting settled and staff kind of figuring out their ways in a new building. And of course, we'll be welcoming the public, but we are going to have a celebration event and would love to have as many people join us as possible in early August. Right now, the planned date for that is August 2nd. And I think we're getting close to finalizing that date. And we'll be inviting in every way we can think of members of the community and people who support our community to join us on that day to celebrate a new, not just City Hall, but really a community center in its own way. So we're very much looking forward to that. Last week on this call, there were a lot of well-deserved shout-outs for Velda Handler. I think everyone will remember that. Well, she's still hard at work up here. No surprise there. On this past Saturday, Velda was one of the key people to lead a shelter drill here. And they had a great, Red Cross was here, county emergency manager was here. I think there were about 75 trained volunteers there to do a drill for what sheltering would look like and if we were to have a major event. So thanks as always to all the people on this call and in the community who work hard, very hard, and are very dedicated to that, helping our communities prepare to be safe in the event of an emergency. And I think that's it for us, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the mayor? Not hearing any. We will move on to Rockaway Beach and Mayor McNeely. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor McNeely from Rockaway Beach. A handful of items this morning. Public Works employee Logan Romeg made a trip to the state and federal surplus property facility in Salem. The city was able to acquire file cabinets, personal protective equipment, and several tools during the visit. These were acquired at a small fraction of the cost versus a new purchase. Just another example of our fiscally conservative approach to managing the community's money that they entrust to us. Continuing with Public Works Superintendent Emerson's application for $20,000 from the Oregon Health Authority's Sustainable Infrastructure Planning Projects Program, also known as SIP, looks like it will be awarded. The money will fund a complete water system leak detection study that will identify areas of water loss in our drinking water system to be remediated. This project is slated for the upcoming budget year, so a shout out to Superintendent Dan Emerson for submitting that grant application. Public Works, this is kind of a joint thing. A shout out to the county and a shout out to Public Works. Our Public Works performed utility maintenance in preparation for county paving on Washington Street, Anchor Street, Front Street, and Dogwood. Paving dates are to be determined But we do very much appreciate the county's work on roads just outside our city limits. And then I'm sure all our cities are preparing for the 4th of July. We are too. Parade applications are being accepted. We'll also be accepting applications for Volunteer of the Year and Grand Marshal soon. You can go to our homepage, our Facebook page, or sign up for our listserv email distribution list to get notifications. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for Mayor McNeely? Not hearing any. We will move on to Bay City. Mayor Welch, good morning.
So Mayor Welch is not here, but this is City Manager McCall.
Oh, wonderful. Good morning, City Manager McCall.
Yeah. Hi. So I'd like to start with recognizing we recently had our State of the City event, and I'd just like to circle back and recognize the Volunteer of the Year. Greg Sweeney was awarded with the John Getman Volunteer Service Award this year. I'd like to thank Greg for all he has done in this community and congratulate him on winning that award. Moving on to this week, tonight, we will be having a meeting for our visioning process and updating our strategic plan. That'll be here at the community hall starting at 5 o'clock. And next week on Tuesday, we will have our regular city council meeting. That's a regular meeting, not our budget meeting. The budget meeting will be on the 20th. So we are also preparing for plenty of things as our colleagues, and that's all I have for you this week.
Thank you very much. Any questions for City Manager? Okay, well, congratulations to Greg. He was a Warming Center volunteer for me many years ago. So you're right. He is a super volunteer and all around our communities. Okay, moving on to the city of Tillamook, and I see interim city manager Kevin Perkins with us this morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
A couple of quick announcements. I want to echo the sheriff's statement that we've got the Touch a Truck event tonight. Hope to see you all there. We'll certainly have our department vehicles down there as well. And last night, the city council approved a contract with Sean Lewis to be our next city manager. So we will hopefully have him on board potentially as early as next week. So maybe a new voice on next Tuesday's update. And finally, we still are short of some volunteers for our budget committee. As the commissioners have said, we're all moving into a very challenging budget period for the next several years. So we desperately need the public to be involved. Right now, we only have 2 of 7 positions filled. So if you're interested in being a part of that budget and seeing how the city allocates its funding and what the real story is behind how we use our public funding and where it comes from, the budget committee is your best window to see it. So you can get an application off our website or contact City Hall, and we will definitely get you in front of the city council for appointment. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Well, that's exciting that there's a new city manager coming in. We'll all look forward to meeting Sean as he gets here. So fantastic. Okay, with that, wow, we made it just before 9 o'clock still. So with that, I'm going to thank everyone for attending. I'm going to thank KTIL for broadcasting, and we will adjourn this meeting at 8:58 a.m. Thank you.